MeMonster.
Chapter 121. With an arrow powered by 3 streaks of stigma, I severed the arm of a peak intermediate rank monster. The explosion was impressive, but I didn't have the strength to watch the result. Drowsiness overwhelmed me, and the world spun as the sky and ground switched places. I had fallen from the tree, dizzy and disoriented. Ugh. Lying on the ground, I looked toward the battlefield. A sword of magic power shot upward, Che Neyun's. Her greatsword, half the size of the black ogre's arm, came crashing down. The ogre staggered under her domineering slash, and the other cadets unleashed a barrage of attacks. It seemed the recoil from using a large amount of stigma grew stronger with each additional streak. My body simply couldn't handle the emission of so much magic power. Ugh! Boom, boom, boom. The battle raged on, but the sounds grew faint. I surrendered to the drowsiness. When I opened my eyes, Che Neyun was right in front of me. Her skin was soft, her expression full of curiosity. Once again, I was struck by her otherworldly beauty. Ugh! Che Neyun flinched and stepped back. What? You're awake? Why was she so surprised? I rubbed my face and asked, "Did you do something to me?" What do you mean? I was just surprised to see you sleeping so peacefully when everyone else is fighting." Che Neyun sat down next to me, yelling nervously. "Oh, sorry, I was just tired." But what you did was awesome. Was that your finishing move? You know, like an ultimate ability?" I nodded silently. Whether I wanted it to be or not didn't matter. Using it knocked me out for an hour or two, so it could only be a finishing move. "What happened to the black ogre?" "We killed it. It was easy thanks to you." "That's good to hear." At that moment, a hologram window appeared in front of us. "You cleared the stage. Contribution points will now be awarded. The top 3 contributors are as follows. Che Neyun, 68 points. Kim Hajin, 39 points. Yi Ji-yoon, 33 points. The bottom 30% of contributors will be immediately moved to a lower stage. The top 30% of contributors will be moved to a higher stage after 2 hours of rest. The remaining 40% will be given a chance to try again. Seeing the alerts, I finally understood how this tower worked. By repeating stages like this, cadets would either go up, go down, or stay on the same level. Grades would be given accordingly once the exam ended. Ah, so this is how it works. Che Neyun seemed to understand as well, clapping her hands together. Then she poked my shoulder. "Hey, team up with me." "Team up?" "Yeah, there's a party function. Look." She showed me her smartwatch screen. Just like the last final exam, cadets were given exam smartwatches. At first, I thought this one could only tell time, but now there was a party function. The heck? Let's team up. I looked at Che Neyun. Pressured by her sparkling eyes, I dodged her gaze. She grabbed my sleeve. I want to team up with you. Let me go. Come on, let's team up, please." She pulled my sleeve, trying to act cute, but it felt like she was shaking me by the collar. "Hey, wait, let go, I'm going to puke." "I'll let you go if you agree. Hurry up." She shook me so hard I thought my shirt would rip. With no choice, I nodded. Okay. Che Neyun didn't stop until we officially formed a party. After that, I went through 2 more stages with Che Neyun. In a forest, we protected an NPC from monsters. In a coliseum, we fought other cadets or giant monsters. To be honest, Che Neyun was carrying me. Her skill was overwhelming. Che Neyun's specialty was prolonged fights. With her immense magic power, not even Kim Soo-ho could match her recovery speed. Naturally, she excelled in stamina-heavy tasks like climbing a tower. Of course, even though she was carrying me, grades were given individually. I racked up points whenever I could and stayed in the top 30% of every stage. This is the final stage. Eventually we reached the final stage, a cave. Only the best cadets should be here. Che Neyun nudged my shoulder. "Hey, this must be the boss fighting stage. Try to see if there's anything in front of us." Yeah. I opened my eyes wide and focused. My vision expanded, scanning the ground. Then I spotted someone. Ah. A girl was squatting in front of a stone wall, yawning. It was Rachel. I smiled, happy to see her. There's someone there. Really? Yeah, it looks like you can't go in alone. Let's go. Okay. Chain Nayun and I ran forward. Hearing our footsteps, Rachel stood up, drew her rapier, and stood guard. I shouted, Rachel see! What? Rachel? Chain Nayun stopped running. Rachel put away her rapier and ran toward us. We met up quickly. Hajin see! Chain Nayun! Rachel called my name with a bright expression, which stiffened slightly when she saw Chain Nayun beside me. Rachel? What? Why's the princess here? Chain Nayun and Rachel exchanged displeased looks. I reached out to Rachel. She shook my hand, then glared at Chain Nayun again. This was what it meant to have a rival. For the next 5 years, the press would constantly compare them and encourage them to compete. Same gender, same age, now even the same role as swordsmen. They'd be easy targets for hero reporters, who were more extreme than celebrity reporters. So, Rachel C., why were you alone? Yes? It said I couldn't go in alone, so I was waiting for someone else. This final exam was dangerous for Rachel. Lancaster's influence was still small, so monsters above high intermediate rank wouldn't appear, but she was still in more danger than most. That's good to hear. Then let's go in together. Yes, follow me. Rachel touched the stone wall, which rose up to reveal a corridor. She led us in, and I walked beside her. Chain Nayun glared from behind, then ran up to join me. After about 3 minutes, Oi, princess! Chain Nayun finally spoke after staring at Rachel. You didn't team up with anyone? Yes, I was alone the whole time. Oh, really? Teamwork should be part of the exam's grading. You'll probably get a 0 for that. Chain Nayun snickered, but Rachel stayed silent. Then Chain Nayun put her hand on my shoulder. But you and I should get a perfect score. What do you mean? We were together from the first stage. Plus, I'm a warrior and you're a sharpshooter. It's the perfect combination. Oh, well, sure. Rachel glanced at Chain Nayun. It's combination, not combination. Same difference. After 3 more minutes of silence, Rachel clapped her hands as if she remembered something. Oh, right, Hajin see, would you like to come to England over winter break with some of our other Team Challenge members? There's a huge festival in Clancy Islet. In Clancy Islet? Sure, that sounds great. I'd wanted to go back, but couldn't without an invitation. I felt a bit sorry to Rachel, but I wanted to make more money before I got blacklisted from the casino. Great, then come with Hosting C, Bokyu C, and Jamer C. Rachel smiled. Jamer.
Hearing Tomer's alias for the first time in a while, I grew curious about her. At that moment, Chain Nayun muttered, If you only play around, you'll fall behind. Rachel's eyes narrowed sharply for a moment, but people like Chain Nayun enjoyed such reactions. As expected, Chain Nayun smiled triumphantly. Have you heard of UC Hook, princess? What about the UC Hook camp? It's the camp that heirs of hero clans pay billions of won to attend. That's where I'll be going over winter break. I might surpass you in swordsmanship soon. Rachel exhaled and retorted, pretending to talk to me. Hajin see, there are ways to be efficient in training too. Stupid people are often bad at comprehending what they're taught, so they aren't as efficient. What? Did you just... In that sense, I think I'm a very efficient learner. Rachel was obviously not talking to me. Recently, I've gotten close to elementals quite a bit. Perhaps provoked by Chain Nayun, she emphasized the word elementals, just like how Evandel called me Hajin. Elementals? Yes, elementals. What? What does she mean? Chain Nayun furrowed her brows, her eyes burning with rivalry. Ah, my bad. That was supposed to be a secret. Rachel covered her mouth, looking proud, her cheeks puffed as if holding back laughter. She usually wasn't like this. I guess Chain Nayun had a way of making people around her act childish. Did a hamster enter your mouth? While Chain Nayun murmured mockingly, we arrived at another stone wall. We didn't have to force it open. When the 3 of us approached, it opened by itself. This is it? Beyond the wall, the room was circular and much larger than before. Wait. I raised my arms, stopping the others. I could see someone in the distance. He looked suspicious, a black robe covering most of his body. There's someone there. Hello, cadets. I am Hajin, the exam overseer in charge of the final stage. I met his eyes, his squirming black pupils. The aura he gave off wasn't that of an exam overseer. I sensed a ghastly presence and the smell of blood. Chae Na-yoon and Rachel seemed to share my suspicion. Are you really an exam overseer? Of course. But before you participate in the stage, I will pick someone to stay behind. Only 2 people can participate at a time. He took out a die. 1 and 4 for the male cadet, 2 and 5 for the short-haired cadet, and 3 and 6 for the blonde cadet. Took. The die rolled. The result was 5, as expected. Chae Na-yoon furrowed her brows. The overseer spoke. Short-haired cadet. What? He flicked his finger. Suddenly, a cage fell from above, pulling in Chae Na-yoon with powerful magic. Ah, what's this? Stay up for now. It will end soon. Ah, wait! Wah! He flicked his finger again, and the cage shot up. Rachel muttered nervously, Hajin, see, that person. Yes, I also think he's a djinn. Rachel shook her head. He's from Dark Moon Society. Dark Moon? Yes, look at that symbol on his robe. A black goblet and a faint moon above it. Dark Moon Society. Rachel clenched her teeth. Sorry, it's because of me. Yes? Ah, no. Was Dark Moon Society that amazing? I furrowed my brows. I felt like I'd written it into the setting, but couldn't recall the details. Now then, shall we start the test? My thoughts didn't last long. Hajin raised his magic power, staring at us. Kung! The earth rumbled. Crevices appeared and widened. The test is simple. Behind him, dozens of daggers shot up. His killing intent was real. There is a dueling arena below. He jumped down a crevice. As the ground broke apart, his voice echoed from below. If you can last up there for the next 10 minutes, you will have cleared the stage, and the test will end. A heavy pressure pressed down on me. The ground beneath me sunk, and I lost my footing. Rachel jumped and grabbed my hand. Hajin, see, are you okay? It's a gravitational field. Come up. Rachel tried to pull me up, and I tried to climb, but my body grew heavier. Even Rachel was struggling. The pressure was immense. I could hardly breathe. But if even one of you falls down, Hajin's voice echoed, I will kill that person. Kill. The intent behind the word was chilling and honest. Fear spread across Rachel's face. But don't worry. The gravitational field will disappear once one person falls. For the record, the chance of both of you surviving 10 minutes in that field is 0%. The gravitational field will keep getting stronger until even I can't withstand it, so one of you should just give up. The pressure increased, and more ground broke apart. Rachel and I exchanged glances. I understood his intentions. He wanted us to fight each other to survive, or to sacrifice ourselves. Suddenly, Rachel's expression turned serious. Hajin, see, don't have strange thoughts. What strange thoughts? Seeing that I was about to fall, Rachel used both hands to hold my hand. Don't try to let go. Put strength into your hand. Hurry. No, you see, unlike you, I can't not let go out of my own volition. While I laughed inwardly, the gravitational field grew unbearably strong. Weight 10s of times our own, pressed down, and it was hard to keep my eyes open. Hajin, see, don't have strange thoughts and come up. Rachel screamed my name desperately, but feeling like I would die if I stayed, I let go of her hand. No! I fell. Rather than heading to my death, I felt liberated. Kim Hajin! Rachel screamed my name and jumped after me. But a transparent barrier blocked her. She slammed her fists against it, staring at me as I fell. Thud. My back hit the ground, but thanks to Aether, I wasn't hurt. This time, the situation was different. I quickly stood up. The self-proclaimed exam overseer stood a fair distance away. He spoke. "So you came, just like I expected." If Rachel was right, he was from Dark Moon Society. I couldn't remember much about them, but he should be at least an intermediate rank hero. My heart trembled. I had a bad feeling from the start. My intuition was right. "So I have to fight you now?" If I couldn't defeat him, I was confident I wouldn't lose. He didn't know about the ghost wolf hiding in my chest. Surprise attacks were favored for a reason. As soon as he let his guard down, the ghost wolf would bite his neck. "Are you confident?" Hajin asked me. Without answering, I fired the cadet handgun. Tang, 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 tang. I emptied the clip in less than a second. Not a single bullet reached him. The daggers behind him cut them all down. "Unfortunately, I really will kill you." He was talkative. That was what I wanted. I threw the cadet handgun at him. One of his daggers cut it in half. "You're abandoning your weapon? It's too quick to surrender, don't you think?" "No. You see, I stretched out my arm. Magic power shot from my upper arm, forming a handgun in my hand. You see, I'm the type that's quite overgeared." Desert Eagle.
First, I transformed it into assault rifle mode. Since he wasn't approaching, I had to make him. Hyok John was still smiling. I smiled back, provoking him. "Don't hold anything back. You might regret it." His smile stiffened. He clenched his teeth, threw off his robe, and unleashed his magic power. What caught my attention was the tattoo on his upper arm, a black goblet and a faint moon. Now that I saw the symbol again, I felt like I recognized it. Dark Moon Society. "Oh? Looks like you're quite knowledgeable for a brat." He smiled proudly, happy his organization was famous. I pondered those 3 words. What role did they fill in the original story? It was on the tip of my tongue. Ah! A light bulb went on in my head. Simply put, these guys were one of Chameleon Troop's lackeys.
Chapter 122. Chameleon Troop had ties with several organizations and groups, since even they couldn't manage everything in this huge land. Of course, most of these ties were only temporary, with Chameleon Troop being in a clear-cut superior position. In fact, most of the groups they traded with didn't even know they were dealing with the organization Chameleon Troop. Dark Moon Society was one of many private organizations based in Pandemonium. If I remembered correctly, their leader was from England, and their group was a crime syndicate similar to the Mafia.
"To think that even a brat like you has heard of us. We must have gotten quite famous, eh?"
Although the United Nations and several governments spread malicious propaganda against Pandemonium, Pandemonium wasn't the hell they made it out to be. In truth, Pandemonium was a city with a sizable number of residents, including humans. In any case, Chameleon Troop didn't care much about Pandemonium, but Dark Moon Society desperately clung to them in hopes of elevating their status. After all, having Chameleon Troop as their backer would give them quite an edge in the power struggles against other organizations. As for why a member of Dark Moon Society was trying to kill me, it was likely because they were hired by Lancaster. This was especially likely considering Lancaster and Dark Moon Society's leader were both from England. Getting back to the matter at hand, the fact that Dark Moon Society was Chameleon Troop's lackey changed nothing. It wasn't like I could go up to him and introduce myself as a friend of Chameleon Troop's boss. If I did, boss would probably kill me. Hook Jun chillingly spoke as his daggers gathered together. I counted the number of daggers he had. 1, 2, 3, 17. From the looks of it, he was controlling them with his magic power. If he could control all 17 daggers skillfully, he was at least at the intermediate rank level. Come, I'll allow you to make the first move. Despite talking like he was looking down on me, he didn't let his guard down at all. His magic power-infused daggers thoroughly protected his body like a curtain of blades. I couldn't see a single opening. Fine. First, I used the third medicinal effect memorized by my body. Instant amplification. In an instant, a surge of heat coursed through my body and my muscles bulged. My body fiercely reacted to the spontaneous rush of adrenaline. Along with the strengthening of my physical body, my thought processes also sped up. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. Despair is a part of death. I'll let you experience it thoroughly. Click! I shot open my eyes and aimed my gun at the blabbering fool. Do-do-do-do. An explosive sound erupted as my 45-round magazine emptied in a second. But even against such a terrifying firing speed, Hook-jun didn't bat an eye. The 17 daggers hovering around him like satellites cut down all the bullets. Clang, clang. Severed bullets fell to the ground. Once the initial explosive sound died down, only silence remained.
That's it?
Hook-jun smiled leisurely. Tisk. I clicked my tongue and pulled my hair up. Unfortunately, I was a bad match against him. Although I could fire bullets powerful enough to break his daggers, the problem was he had 17 of them. Whew. I couldn't die to him. If I really wanted to win, I could do so whenever I wanted. The god-slaying bullet, mistletoe. Although it would be like using a guillotine to behead a chicken, it would certainly guarantee my survival. How disappointing. If that's all you have to show, I'll be attacking now. Hook-jun kindly announced his next move. I focused my attention on his daggers. A sly smile emerged on his face and his daggers flew towards me. I immediately activated bullet time. In this slowed world, I stared at the flying daggers and felt that something was off. A single dagger suddenly accelerated towards my head, but I saw it coming before it even happened. Perhaps it was easier to predict because the dagger was flying straight. If I was right, the second dagger that was flying towards my heart would suddenly shoot up to my chin. For some reason, I could see this before the dagger even came near my heart. Knowing where the daggers would go, it was easy to deal with them. I fired. Although my bullets wouldn't be able to overcome his daggers, they were more than capable of changing their course. Clang, clang, clang. Explosive sounds rang out as the bullets clashed with the daggers. His daggers continued to change direction as they flew forward, and I fired at their predicted trajectory. Tuduruk. Fragments of my bullets crumbled after hitting the daggers. As this fierce exchange continued, I realized how I was predicting his attacks. Throwing daggers with magic power and using magic power to change their course, this was classified as a long-range attack. My gift, Master Sharpshooter, put me at the peak of long-range attacks. As long as an attack was long-range, I could read its trajectory without being the attacker. Tusk. However, being able to predict their travel course was different from being able to defend against them. Although my eyes could follow their movements, my body could not. Bullet time only lasted 3 minutes. Once bullet time ended, I would undoubtedly be in trouble. Unfortunately, the flying daggers didn't show any signs of stopping. Meanwhile, Hook-jun leisurely observed me from afar. As I continued to change the dagger's trajectory, I thought of the other weapon hitting in my stigma. All of weakening, high rank, enchant, poison, and all that weakens the pricked target, enchanted with the high rank magic effect weakening. This high rank magic effect should work on Hook-jun as well. As bullet time ended, Hook-jun's dagger grazed my shoulder. I clenched my teeth at the sharp pain. Once. I just had to stick this all in him once. The problem was how. Then suddenly I thought of something. Stigma's magic power. The power that turned my will into reality. It wasn't impossible. Although there were many things I couldn't do with my limited streaks of stigma, it was worth trying now that I had 3. I focused all my senses on stigma. Meanwhile, Hook-jun's daggers cut my flesh, overloading my pain receptors. Still, I stood my ground and maintained my focus. What I wanted was to stand behind him. Suddenly, stigma shone brightly, its blue glow leaking through my shirt. Immediately, the world seemed to turn upside down. As though the world was dismantled and then reassembled, the scenery distorted and changed. In the blink of an eye, I found myself standing behind Hook-jun. I didn't miss the opportunity I created. Taking out the olive weakening from stigma, I struck down on Hook-jun's shoulder. What?
Although he showed an incredible reaction speed, it was too late. I released the ghost wolf from my chest. Bite! The wolf jumped on Hyokjan's body. Ugh! What? He struggled underneath the ghost wolf. Meanwhile, I switched the Desert Eagle to shotgun mode, barely holding myself back from collapsing on the ground. Gink! It only took 2 seconds for the gun to change form. This was the reason I attacked with the awl first. 2 seconds was a rather long time. Come back! I called the wolf back. I could see several deep wounds on his body. The ghost wolf's only flaw was its stamina and vitality. Exhausted, the ghost wolf jumped back inside me. Ugh, what? He blared at me hatefully, his previous leisurely attitude gone. Although he was trying to raise his magic power, it was near impossible with the effect of all of weakening. Try eating this. Now our positions were swapped. I shoved the barrel of the shotgun at him. This might hurt if it doesn't end quickly. But right when I was about to pull the trigger, 12 hours have passed since the first cadet completed the tower climb. The exam is now over. The exam ended, thus saving Hyokjan's life. Immediately, a blinding light engulfed me. I could feel myself being transported to another place. I laughed. Who knew someone could be even luckier than me? Hyokjan? Was it? I would inevitably run into him again, so I could deal with him then. I should tell boss. After the exam, I came back to the waiting room alone, staring at my smartwatch. Oh-ho! Your understanding of Stigma's magic power increases. A new function, Idea Imprint, has been added. Idea Imprint stores Stigma's magic power as a special idea. You can store a total of 2 ideas. Magic power cost for stored ideas are halved. Interesting. Stigma received a new ability, obviously because of my use of Stigma during my fight with Hyokjan. I immediately knew what technique I needed to store. The short-distance teleportation I used in the previous fight. Although moving a mere 50 meters used 2.5 streaks of Stigma, I couldn't say it was too costly, as teleportation is an ability that can only be gained through gifts. Hey, Kim Hajin! Hajin! I was tapping on the smartwatch keyboard when I heard 2 people calling my name. I raised my head. Chae Na-yoon and Kim Suho were running toward me. Oh, what happened to your face? How did you become so ugly? Are you okay? Chae Na-yoon rubbed the injuries on my body with a worried face. But was she worried about me or making fun of me? It was a bit insulting. I wouldn't be here otherwise. Was that bastard really an exam overseer? Did you clear the stage? I ignored Chae Na-yoon and turned to Kim Suho. Chae Na-yoon must have told him what happened, as Kim Suho looked just as worried as Chae Na-yoon. At that moment, Chae Na-yoon found a deep cut on my waist. What is this? It's so deep. I can see inside your skin. I was the one who was hurt, so why was she so anxious? I calmly stared at Chae Na-yoon, who was rubbing my arms, shoulders, sides, and thighs. Oh right, Kim Suho, the potion. I almost forgot. Here, Hajin, it's a potion for external injuries. Kim Suho handed me a potion. Oh, no, it's fine. I slowly took a step back. I didn't really want to apply such a painful potion. Not to mention external injury potions were especially painful. Don't run away. However, Chae Na-yoon snatched my hand, then opened the potion and wetted a gauze with it. Wait! The wet gauze touched my wound, and excruciating pain sundered through my body. Hey, go easy on me. Come on, it's not that bad. Chae Na-yoon smiled, although I really was in pain. When Chae Na-yoon finished treating me, my smartwatch suddenly rang. Your body has memorized 1.5% of emergency recovery potions' injury recovery medicinal effect. Oh, right! Recovery potions were a type of medicine, too. For some reason, I'd forgotten about it until now.
I questioned my own intelligence. There! By the way, what happened to Princess? Rachel? Oh, there she is. In the distance, Rachel was crying while desperately speaking to an instructor. I could hear her say, "Please find Kim Hajin." Wing! My smartwatch rang again. It really was working overtime today. My face became as stiff as a plank of wood. This time, it wasn't an alert. It was a message. A serious one at that. I talked with the other members about the request you made. The sender was Boss. As soon as I saw the first line of her message, my heart dropped a beat. "Hey, I need to go to the restroom." "Huh? But there's no restroom nearby. Hey, where are you going?" Avoiding Chae Na-yoon and Kim Suho, I went to the most isolated place I could find and sat down. After looking around to make sure I was alone, I checked the rest of Boss's message. The result? 5 yes, 5 no. An even split. I clenched my teeth. As I thought, killing Chon Ji-yun was something even the almighty Chameleon Troupe hesitated to do. However, Chameleon Troupe had a total of 11 members, excluding the empty seat. But I have yet to decide. As I thought, Boss was the one who didn't vote. "Yes, Boss." I sent her a short message and waited for her reply. However, she didn't reply for a while. I didn't know whether she was simply too slow at typing or actually trying to keep me on my toes. As I was getting impatient, Boss's reply finally arrived. "Little apprentice, you've already killed several people, but you were on missions, and they were all evil people who deserved to die. Your request is different than your missions. This time, you said you wanted to kill someone yourself. No matter what the reason may be, if you commit murder out of your own will, a heavy weight will be placed on your conscience." The tone of her message was solemn, though I had a strong hunch that she was only pretending to be kind. But as someone who used to write for a living, I couldn't help but notice a small mistake that ruined the serious atmosphere. "Will you be able to endure it?" Boss, I'm sorry to say this, but it's conscience, not conscious. If you can." Boss's message was cut mid-sentence. I couldn't help but think I made a mistake, but it was already too late. Then again, this was probably better than making a similar mistake in person. Question mark? Boss returned a single question mark. I'm sorry." Although I quickly apologized, Boss seemed to be sulking as she didn't reply back. Feeling a bit anxious, I called Boss. Thankfully, she picked up immediately. "Hello? What is it?" She sounded unenthusiastic. I sighed of relief and apologized once again.
Chapter 123. Sorry, I'm in the middle of an exam, so we'll have to discuss the details later. Fine. Also, just so you know, it was a typo, not a grammatical error. I was a bit offended by you pointing it out. I was going to fix it. By the time I finished consoling Boss and set up an appointment to meet later, an instructor walked around the waiting room calling my name. "Kim Hajin, is Kim Hajin here?" Yes." "You're here." I ended the call in a hurry and raised my hand. The instructor looked surprised. Rachel is looking for you. Looks like you two got separated during the exam. Tell her not to make such a big deal out of it. This isn't England, so she can't order us around." I apologize. The instructor clicked his tongue and reported to the higher-ups. "All cadets are accounted for." Then he quickly left. I tried to look for Rachel, but I didn't need to. She was standing behind the instructor who left. She stared at me silently, her eyes glistening with tears. I felt a bit sorry for making her worry. I should have looked for her first. Soon, Rachel spoke. "I was looking for you. You should have told me you were okay." Sorry. There was a matter I had to tend to."
Rachel sighed, then murmured in a barely audible whisper, "Thank goodness." Her sincerity hit me hard. Thankfully, it was an indirect attack. Otherwise, my heart would have skipped more than just a beat. Rachel asked, "So, what happened in that last stage?" "Well, I won." "Eh? Wow, really? Against a member of Dark Moon?" She stopped mid-sentence, looked around, then continued in a softer voice. "Against a member of Dark Moon Society?" "Yeah, I beat him up." "Ah." To be honest, I barely turned the situation around after suffering several lacerations. But Rachel didn't need to know that. "Wow." Rachel looked awestruck, her mouth half open and her eyes shining like jewels. When I shrugged, Rachel nodded, fully accepting the situation. "From today, I'll have to call Hajin Master." "Yes?" No, you don't have to do that." I wanted to refuse a master-apprentice relationship that would shatter after a single proper one-on-one fight. No, I felt like I could win against her once. Rachel had never fought someone with so many tricks up their sleeve. "Master!" "Please, you don't have to." I scratched my neck, feeling a bit embarrassed. "Cadet Rachel, Cadet Hajin." At that moment, Kim Soo-hook approached us. "Ah, Instructor Kim. What's going on?" The instructor of Veritas class was trustworthy and honorable, unlike the rude instructor from before. Rachel and I explained everything that happened in the tower's final exam room to Kim Soo-hook. With a serious face, he said he would report it to the academy, but Cube's executives would likely have little reaction. Since Rachel and I were the only witnesses, there were many excuses Cube executives could make. More than likely, they would say that was how the stage was, or that we misunderstood the instructor's intention. Anyways, well done. Kim Soo-hook patted our shoulders and turned back. I asked Rachel, who was standing next to me, "What are you going to do now, Rachel She?" "Me? I'm going back to England tonight." "Master." With a teasing smile, Rachel added the word masker. I took special care not to look at her smile. Rachel was the type of person who would change the more she opened her heart. The way she was changing right now was too fatal for my heart. I returned a small smile, and feeling my smartwatch vibrate, I looked down. Hajin, I learned how to text. Hyung helped me." "But when are you coming back, Hajin? I want to see you." Nowadays, Evandel was way too into the smartwatch I got her. She even learned how to look up videos on YouTube. She would probably learn how to order food soon. Let's hurry home and eat with Evandel. The first week of winter break. Inside a nameless dungeon in Baekdu Mountain Range, Upper Sword Mountain. Whew. Good work, Hajin. I was sprawled on the ground hearing Kim Soo-ho's praise. Wow, my hands are still shaking. Wasn't that super fun? Although Kim Soo-ho was reflecting on our previous battle with the bright smile, I was too shaken to do anything. The boss of this dungeon was a venomous snake called Jor. It was an intermediate rank grade 1 monster that spat out black venom. The strategy I came up with was simple. As a sharpshooter, I would be the support, and as a warrior, Kim Soo-ho would charge in. Things mostly went according to plan. Kim Soo-ho marched forward, cutting down its venom, and I shot Jor's eyes from the back. But the monster began to rampage after losing its sight. Shooting venom everywhere, it attacked without caring for its own safety. If I didn't have the detox medicinal effect memorized, I would have died in vain. Is this the urn the reward is? Yeah, that should be it. That was what Jor was protecting, right? I forced myself to get up. But what is it? I'll have to appraise it first. When I put my hand out, Kim Soo-ho gave me the urn without hesitating. Jar of Greed. A jar full of greed. When you put an item inside, a random greed will adhere to the item. This was one of the randomization items I created. It was easy to use. You just had to put an item inside and let it sit for about 10 days. Although no one knew what crazy effect would be added to the item, with my luck, I wasn't too worried. You can take this one. Huh? What do you mean? It's obvious. I took Mistlethane, so you should take this one. But still, I knew that this jar could be used twice. It's fine. I'm happy with the combat experience I gained today. Oh, right. If you feel bad about taking it, then let's go on a trip together. I didn't reply to Kim Soo-ho. I just lay down and pretended to sleep. He laughed, and time passed by in silence. Wing! The silence was broken by the vibration of a smartwatch. It wasn't mine. Then it should naturally be Kim Soo-ho's. I turned my head and saw Kim Soo-ho typing earnestly. Seeing this, I felt like I knew who the sender was. Another that Yoon Sung-ah? Kim Soo-ho flinched. I couldn't help but laugh. Although this wasn't my intention, Yoon Sung-ah and Kim Soo-ho ended up getting close a lot earlier. In the original story, Yoon Sung-ah couldn't even text Kim Soo-ho because Chae Na-yoon constantly kept a watchful eye. You guys going out? No. How could someone like me go out with Senior Yoon Sung-ah? If you're not worthy, then no one is. Kim Soo-ho's looks alone were more than enough to make girls fawn over him. Anyway, Hajin, you're good at changing the subject. No, I'm going back to what we talked about before, about that trip. You like going on trips that much? No, it's just that I'm leaving on the 20th. We won't see each other for almost 3 months. Kim Soo-ho continued with a serious face. And you can also get closer to Na-yoon. Also? Yeah, Chae Na-yoon changed a lot. Now she's... No, not that. Huh?
If I also get closer to Chae Na-yoon, that means you, Kim Soo-ho, are getting closer to someone too. And that's Yoon Sung-ah. No, it's not like that. Kim Soo-ho shot up angrily. Haha, it's also not like that for me. I don't like Chae Na-yoon. I never said I did in the first place. Really? That's not good. Not good how? Never mind. Kim Soo-ho closed his mouth. He seemed to have talked to Chae Na-yoon about me. Should I hack into their smartwatches later? Anyways, you take this jar. But you have to come on the trip. I smiled and nodded at Kim Soo-ho's generous offer. Since I would have never been able to clear this dungeon without him, I could at least do that much for him. December 17th. On a cold winter day, I left for a trip with Kim Soo-ho, Shin Jong-hak, Yoo Yeon-ha, Lee Young-han, and Chae Na-yoon. Our destination was a luxury resort near Gyeongpore. Currently, we were heading to Daehyun Group's 5-star hotel. To fully enjoy the trip, Chae Na-yoon suggested that we take a car from Seoul to Gyeongpore, but since none of us had a driver's license, we had to take a limousine. Num. Although everyone was full of energy at first, only Yoo Yeon-ha remained awake past the 30-minute mark. Num. I watched Yoo Yeon-ha happily eating chocoballs. It was one of the snacks Chae Na-yoon brought to liven up the trip. Although Yoo Yeon-ha showed no interest in it at first, she practically made a 180 once everyone fell asleep. The way she savored each chocoball was quite funny. Suddenly, our eyes met. Yoo Yeon-ha looked at me and reluctantly gave me the box of chocoballs. Would you like some? No, I'm fine. That's a good choice. It's not that good. As she said that, she put another chocoball in her mouth. Thud. At that moment, the limousine shook, and Chae Na-yoon's head fell on my shoulder. Her hair's fragrant scent tickled my nose. Yoo Yeon-ha murmured to herself at the sudden turn of events. I pushed Chae Na-yoon's head to the side, but in 2 minutes, her head fell on my shoulder again. She wasn't awake, right? When I turned back to the front after deciding to give up, I met eyes with Yoo Yeon-ha. For some reason, she was looking at us with a sad expression. What? Yes? I just felt bad. Na-yoon's head must be heavy. I guess you're right. Her head is too big. I dissed Chae Na-yoon to check if she was awake, but there was no reaction. It seems she really was asleep. After another 30 minutes of driving, we arrived at our destination, a resort that made my jaw drop. Even the buildings near the resort were luxurious. Gangwon-do sure lived up to its setting, where its GDP matched that of a small country. Follow me. Chae Na-yoon got up as soon as we arrived and guided us with a lively voice. Our home for the next 2 days was a huge party room with 6 bedrooms. We put our bags in our rooms and met in the living room.
Our schedule is really tight, so make sure you don't get lost, Chae Na-yoon shouted as she smiled joyfully. Everyone seemed to be looking forward to what she had planned. However, from 12 to 9, we were forced to participate in a 9-course schedule consisting of pool, bowling, jet skiing, swimming, hot spring bathing, and other events. I, for one, didn't know whether we were enjoying a trip or training for the Olympics. 11 p.m. The final event of the day was a barbecue party. With Gyeongpodae's scenic view in the background, we enjoyed some of the highest quality meat. Looking at the meat being cooked on the grill, I felt myself relax. Kim Hajin, this is stuck. Give me a hand. Chae Na-yoon, who was standing next to me, tapped on my shoulder. I turned around and saw a piece of meat stuck on the grill. I can do the grilling alone. Yeah, no. Everyone else was sitting at the table, but Chae Na-yoon insisted on helping me grill meat. Oh, right. I bought a motorcycle, too. What? Really? Yep, it's parked in the parking lot. Want to go on a drive after this? Do you have a motorcycle driver's license? I do, but you'll need to take the wheel. I'm still inexperienced. Oh, what's this, too? At that moment, Lee Young-han's teasing voice rang out. What are you two doing over there? Chae Na-yoon frowned and glared at Lee Young-han. Shut up, Lee Young-han. Ouch, scary. Why don't you leave the cooking to one person? There's no reason for you to help out. Shin Jang-hak muttered, somewhat annoyed. He still had the meat I gave him stacked up on his plate. It seemed he was too busy paying attention to us to eat. Why? It's nice to see. What do you mean it's nice to see? You, shut up too, Kim Soo-ho. Chae Na-yoon stuttered and glanced up at me. Our eyes met for a brief moment, but we quickly dodged each other's gaze. Chae Na-yoon laid a dry cough, her face reddening. Hey, don't have any strange thoughts. I won't. Why? Did things go well with Rachel? She suddenly pouted and grumbled. What are you talking about? Never mind. Oi, Kim Soo-ho, why don't we go back to the pool table after this? The loser has to go swim in the ocean. Sure, I'm down. Shin Jang-hak and Kim Soo-ho planned for another match. On the other hand, Lee Young-han was staring at Chae Na-yoon and I mischievously, and Yoo Yan-ha was completely focused on looking for an opportunity to cook ramen. Seeing them, I laughed silently. It was the kind of atmosphere that called for soju. The night sky full of starlight, the fond sound of crashing waves, and the people whom I now felt lonely without. Standing alongside them, I was deeply moved. The emotion I thought I would never feel in this world, affection. If I had a glass of alcohol, I felt like I could really let myself go today. Tack, tack. Chae Na-yoon tapped on my shoulder. See, aren't you glad you came? Chae Na-yoon had a beautiful smile. I couldn't deny it. It's not bad. Heh, I know you love it. Chae Na-yoon grinned. At that moment, her smartwatch rang. Ah, let me deal with this. Hello? She picked up the call and put on earphones. Ah, yes, I'm Chae Na-yoon. I could hear the voice coming from her earphones. Yes? She suddenly dropped the tongs she was holding. As the voice continued to talk, her hands trembled, her breathing sped up, and her eyes widened with shock. She stopped there. Yes, patient Chae Jin-yoon woke up, though he is currently sleeping. Chae Na-yoon seemed to stop breathing. What I was worried about ended up happening. Chae Jin-yoon had woken up before the seed sprouted. I closed my eyes. I needed some time to think. But soon, Chae Na-yoon hung up the call and pulled on my sleeve. Hey. Looking up at me with tear-filled eyes, Chae Na-yoon pleaded, Please give me a ride. 11:30 p.m. Domestic portals had closed 30 minutes ago.
Chapter 124. The call from the hospital was hard to believe, but the doctor's hopeful voice didn't sound like a lie. My mind went blank. I couldn't think at all. After so long in despair, I'd already given up, so I couldn't even feel happiness. The doctor's voice in my ear faded. My head rang and my vision blurred. I slowly turned to the side. There, I saw Kim Hajin. His perfectly average face looked especially vivid today. Hey, please give me a ride. Kim Hajin looked at me with heavy eyes. Did he overhear the call? He let out a deep sigh, but before he could answer, Yoo Yeon-ha spoke up. A ride? Did something happen? Huh? As I struggled to answer, Kim Hajin spoke for me. Let's go. It won't take more than 20 minutes. So he really did overhear. Because he was so reliable, I managed a small smile even now. I thought only your eyes were good, but turns out your ears are too. We can talk about that later. Where did you park your motorcycle? Follow me. What happened? Jin Shanghak shot up and asked. Yi Young-heen, Yu Yeon-ha, and Kim Soo-ho also looked concerned. I ran to the parking lot without explaining. Kim Hajin followed. Soon, we stood in front of my motorcycle. Where's the key? He asked. Key? Right. Kim Hajin shook his head. I couldn't remember where I put the keys. I felt like an idiot. Am I really an idiot? But Kim Hajin examined the motorcycle and sighed in relief. Whew, it's fine. This works with a smart key. Smart key? Yeah. He tapped his smartwatch a few times and the engine started. Before I could react, Kim Hajin pulled me onto the back seat. An explosive exhaust echoed in the parking lot. Hold on tight. Yeah, but hold on where? Not knowing what to do, I grabbed the hem of his shirt. Scan, Kim Hajin murmured quietly. Vroom! The bike shot out of the parking lot at incredible speed, racing down the road. Even with Kim Hajin's body shielding me, the wind was fierce. It felt like we were going 400 kilometers per hour. Hey, I'm going to... Fall off! Fall off! I tried to speak, but the speed made my voice vanish. I had no choice. I just didn't want to fall off. I moved closer, leaned my head against his back, and put my arms around his waist. My face turned red. This was the first time I'd done something like this. That's how I justified it, but Kim Hajin's back was surprisingly large, tough, and comfortable. What? The bike suddenly turned. Without a choice, really without a choice, I held on tighter. I'd been putting it off. It was something I had to do, but I kept avoiding it. Maybe I was questioning why I had to be here doing this. Maybe I was pretending to wonder if I really had to kill Chae Jun-yoon. But I couldn't find a way to save him, and as this world's original creator, I had a duty. Shwa! A fierce wind blew against me. Under the effect of the random consolidation system, Chae Na-yeon's bike sped far beyond its original capability. 400 kilometers per hour, maybe even faster. Even now, I could feel the soft sensation on my back. Because it was so clear, I had to focus hard on driving. It took exactly 20 minutes to get from Gyeongpo-dae to Seoul. We raced crazily and arrived at Daehyun Hospital's VIP ward. We're here. I spoke to Chae Na-yeon, who was leaning on my back. She didn't react, so I nudged her with my shoulder. Chae Na-yeon opened her eyes, sobbing. Her eyes were full of tears. We're here, I repeated. She stared at the hospital in a daze, as if she couldn't believe it was real. I grabbed her hand and helped her off the bike. You're not dreaming. The others should be on their way too. Not even a hero could run from Gyeongpo-dae to Seoul this fast. Even with the chauffeur and limousine, it would take at least an hour and a half. We didn't have time to wait. Let's go in. Yeah. What about your father? He's out of the country with my grandfather. Not even the president of Daehyun Group could force open a closed portal. I walked into the VIP hospital with Chae Na-yeon. The guard at the entrance recognized her and quickly opened the door. We entered the outer area where a large, luxurious garden spread out. The number of hidden cameras and anti-crime magic here easily surpassed 3 digits. A doctor and several nurses ran out from a side entrance. Na-yeon-shi. They hurried over, calling her name, and were startled to see me. Chae Na-yeon scratched her neck and introduced me. He's my friend. He's an acquaintance. Can we go in? The way she introduced me was odd. Acquaintance? Yes, come in, the middle-aged doctor with glasses and neat hair said, guiding us inside. The VIP hospital was elegant and refined, almost like a temple. As we walked down the hallway, Chae Na-yeon asked, "How's his condition?" The doctor smiled. "He's not fully awake yet, but you'll see he'll wake up soon. It's truly a miracle." We stopped in front of an escalator heading underground. Chae Jun-yoon was downstairs.
Excuse me, but he's... The doctor glanced between us. It's fine. He brought me here. Is that so? Of course, right? I know you're tight-lipped. Then let's head down. We went down the escalator. Che Jun-yoon's room took up almost half the floor. Not only was it protected by a magic barrier, but 3 mercenaries guarded the entrance. They looked as strong as intermediate-rank heroes. "Congratulations, young miss," a particularly intimidating mercenary said with a big smile. Che Na-yoon nodded. "Yes, thank you." "Is he also going in?" The mercenary pointed to me. Che Na-yoon nodded. "Yes." He'll need the president's permission." "I'll give him the permission. Father probably too busy to come today." The mercenary opened the door and we entered with the doctor. The room's clean, flowery air filled my nose. The magic power density here was at the propitious level. A masterpiece painting hung on the wall, and photos of Che Na-yoon and Che Jun-yoon were placed around the room. Che Na-yoon muttered in a daze. In this homely room, Che Jun-yoon lay at a 60-degree angle, catching his breath. Though physically and mentally emaciated, he was clearly awake. We told him he hasn't woken up for 4 years, but it's only been 2 hours since he regained consciousness, so his memory is still hazy. Still, he'll be fully recovered in a month. But Che Na-yoon didn't hear him. Tears streamed down her face. The doctor watched her for a moment, then said, "Then I'll be back in a bit," and left, closing the door. Silence filled the room. Che Na-yoon stared at Che Jun-yoon, then finally said the word she'd wanted to say for so long. "Oppa?" Che Jun-yoon turned his head. Che Jun-yoon, the kind and gentle older brother I created. He saw Che Na-yoon and stared at her for a long time. Eventually, a thin smile appeared, and the voice Che Na-yoon had longed for rang out. "Na-yoon." Even with part of his brain damaged, he still remembered his sister's face. That was the kind of man Che Jun-yoon was.
"You've gotten so big. I heard from the doctor it's been 4 years, right?" At his gentle voice, Che Na-yoon trembled, unable to move. I grabbed her wrist and led her forward. Che Jun-yoon watched me with interest. "Is he your boyfriend?" "Hey, what are you talking about? He's not." Che Na-yoon denied it strongly, but after sneaking a peek at me, she added, Yet. Yet? This time I was dumbstruck. What? Embarrassed, Che Na-yoon pushed me away. Meanwhile, Che Jun-yoon watched us with a warm smile. 2 days later, Gangwon-do. In an empty cave chosen as our meeting place, Boss sat on a chair reading a book. Tuk-tuk. Clear high heel sounds echoed. Jane walked out from the darkness, but Boss kept reading. Jane stopped in front of Boss. "Boss, Che Jun-yoon woke up." Boss silently closed her book. "Are you really thinking of doing this?" Boss stared at Jane and nodded. "Yes, I am." "But will the 4 of us be enough?" I guess it's 5, since Kim Hajin said he wanted to kill him with his own hands." Jane murmured with interest. Boss had only told a few members of the Chameleon Troupe about Kim Hajin's request. Whether they succeeded or not, only Jane, Boss, and a few helpers would know. "Yes, I am." Well, it's true this is the best way to rope in Kim Hajin. By accepting Kim Hajin's request, the Chameleon Troupe would gain his gratitude and debt. That tempted even Jane. She knew Kim Hajin could become one of the world's strongest heroes. But don't we have too much to lose? We don't know why he wants to kill Che Jun-yoon, and more importantly, we'd be turning that geezer into our enemy. No. Boss shook her head. She'd already checked Che Jun-yoon's condition the day Kim Hajin made the request. His magic core was destroyed. Che Ju-chul was unlikely to care about a hero without a magic core, even if that hero was his grandson. That was the kind of man Che Ju-chul was. He might even appreciate it since he could gain the world's sympathy using only his grandson's life as the price. As she spoke, Boss gritted her teeth, a rare show of emotion. She had a history with Che Ju-chul, though he cut contact after the Chameleon Troupe's old boss died. Well, I can't say for sure, but boss, Kim Hajin is just too strange no matter how much I think about him. Jane created a chair from magic power and sat. Explain. Well, that money-hungry ghost refused our request even after we offered another 3 billion won. Money-hungry ghost? Yujin Hick? Yep, Yujin Hick. Though he wasted money gambling in Gangwon-do, Las Vegas, and Clancy Islet, he was still the top informant in Korea. It's just too strange. He never hesitated to look into someone's past, whether Chaebol or Hero. So why is he so adamant about Kim Ha-jin? Yujin Hick had refused 500 million won to look into one person's past. Jane kept raising the price, even up to 3 billion won, but he didn't budge. This must mean he already looked into Kim Ha-jin's past. And he's staying quiet because he thinks his life would be in danger if he spoke. There must be something special about Kim Ha-jin's past. It was logical. Boss nodded. So, should we keep poking him? No, look into another information guild. Jane grinned. Today, Yujin Hick lost a big customer. Boss was the type to hold grudges. Well, information guilds nowadays all have low standards, but there are a couple I've been watching. Where? Jane turned on her smartwatch and projected a hologram. Falling blossom. Naturally and elegantly like a falling flower. One is this, falling blossom, a rising star in the field. It's only been half a year since their founding, but they have great reviews and record. Boss hummed with satisfaction. She liked the refined, unique name. And the other? It's this, Truth Agency. Anything you seek is at our disposal. Boss frowned. Its name and description were exactly what she disliked. Despite how it sounds, it has great reviews. Apparently, it's the best agency for finding people. We'll go with Falling Blossom. Boss, who liked vanity and luxury, made her decision clear. All right, I'll put in a request then. And next? We're good to go for Chae Jin-yoon. The plan is perfect. Just ask Kim Ha-jin when he's available. I'm sure that child needs time to prepare his heart. Just then, tuck-tuck, footsteps echoed in the cave. Jane immediately sharpened her senses and stood on guard. Who is it? I already called him. Called who? Kim Ha-jin already? Yes, it'll be your first time seeing him. Act accordingly. Jane looked forward dumbstruck. A black coat down to his knees, clean pomade-styled hair. She liked his fashion sense, but his face was just average. He walked through the darkness, upright and unhurried. At least he walks like a model, Jane murmured with a grin.
Chapter 125. Once I walked past a cave-like pathway, I saw two women sitting on chairs, Boss and Jane. I could feel powerful magic power emanating from both of them, the kind only those who had surpassed a certain threshold possessed. I took a deep breath and walked up to them. Boss spoke. "You're here, little apprentice?" "Yes." I bowed. However, she looked at me, expecting more. I did as she wished. Boss. With a satisfied hum, black magic power flowed out of Boss's body, forming a chair. I sat down and stared at Jane, who was scanning me from top to bottom. This is Jane. Think of her as a fellow member. Once Boss introduced her, Jane smiled and waved. "Hi, hi." "Yes, nice to meet you." Other than the times I saw her in disguise, this was the first time I was meeting her. I bowed as respectfully as possible. "You see, Hajin-si, I have so many questions for you." "Yes, what is it?" She likely wanted to know my motive for wanting to kill Chae Jin-yoon. "Those clothes, did you copy them from a fashion magazine?" "Come again? What kind of question was that?" "Unlike other male cadets your age, you have excellent fashion sense." To be honest, I put a lot of effort into my clothes. As an average-looking of average height in his mid-20s, fashion was the only way to make myself more attractive. Since I didn't have to worry about money now, it was only natural that my clothes were better than other cadets who rarely wore anything other than their uniforms. "I'm just a bit interested." "I see." "Jane." Boss leered at Jane, who narrowed her eyes and murmured, "Okay, okay." "I want to know why you want to kill Che Jin-yun." I pondered. Could I tell them about the mysterious existence known as Devil's Seed? Would they believe that such a calamitous thing existed when I had no way to prove it? "If you don't want to tell us, you can keep it to yourself." However, Boss cut off my worries. Putting aside Jane, who was smacking her lips disappointedly, Boss continued with a serious face. "But the price you'll have to pay is clear." Boss's eyes flickered with a strange fervor. "You will become our strength, not forgetting this debt and signing this contract." The last part made me chuckle. "Of course." "Good. Then I'll explain what's going to happen." Jane immediately spoke up. She created a triangular table with her magic power and put her arms on it. Jane's explanation began. After Che Jin-yun regained consciousness, Che Na-yun visited him every day. Che Jin-yun's condition continued to improve. Although he still spent more time sleeping than awake, he was recovering fast enough that he'd be able to walk in a month. Today was the 4th day since Che Jin-yun woke up. Che Na-yun visited him with her friends, and I was among them. Che Jin-yun scrutinized Che Na-yun's friends, then pointed at one person. "You're Kim Soo-ho, right?" "Yes, I'm Kim Soo-ho. How did you know?" Kim Soo-ho widened his eyes. "Che Na-yun used to talk about you a lot when she was in Agent Military Academy." Che Na-yun flinched at Che Jin-yun's words. She peeked at me for a moment before explaining herself. "Yeah, I said how you were a delicate-looking boy acting like a know-it-all." "What? Isn't that too harsh?" "Haha, I agree with you, Che Na-yun." Shin Jong-hak chimed in, laughing heartily. "Jong-hak looks just as delicate as Suho, though." No, I look manly." Shin Jong-hak reacted strongly to Yu Yonhe's point. However, I couldn't focus at all on their conversation. Their words went in one ear and out the other as I sat deep in thought. According to the Book of Truth, the Devil's Seed was 97% grown. Assuming 100% was somewhere between 4 and 5 years, I only had 2 months, or maybe even 1. It was certainly not a long time. "Why are you so zoned out?" At that moment, Yu Yon had tapped my shoulder. I smiled bitterly. "Nothing, I'm just a bit tired." "Ah, you're Hajin, right?" Che Jin-yun suddenly pointed at me. Our eyes met, and Che Jin-yun's gentle smile entered my sight. "You're making me ashamed, really." "Huh? He came every day?" Yu Yonha asked in surprise. Shin Jong-hak made a disgruntled face, while Kim Soo-ho shrugged with a smile. "Of course, he's been coming with Na-yun every day." Don't say that, Oppa." Che Na-yun was only allowed to visit him once a day for about 3 hours when Che Jin-yun was awake. For the past 4 days, Che Na-yun pleaded that I go with her, and I agreed, thinking I could maybe talk to Che Jin-yun privately. "He's, Oppa's fan." "My fan?" "Yeah, he used to talk about you a lot, remember, last semester?" Che Na-yun growled jokingly and put me in a headlock. Because I didn't have the energy to play along, I silently squirmed out of her grip. "Hey, I was just joking." Feeling awkward, Che Na-yun poked my arm and muttered meekly, "Hey, I was just joking." "Che Na-yun." Shin Jong-hak cut in, clearly showing his displeasure. "What?" "Follow me outside." "I don't want to." "Your watch." Che Na-yun looked down at her watch. "I'll be back in a moment, Oppa." They seemed to have received a message as they left the room, leaving me alone with Che Jin-yun. I stared at Che Jin-yun in silence. He stared back at me. Although I finally got the chance to talk to him privately, my head was in chaos with all sorts of complicated thoughts. After organizing my thoughts, I spoke. "Che Jin-yun si." Hearing my stiff voice, Che Jin-yun smiled gently. "Yes, Kim Hajin si." "How's your body?" I think I'm getting better." Che Jin-yun's soft voice rang out. I asked another question. How about your head? My head? Che Jin-yun tilted his head. Yes, or you struck with a sudden urge to do something bad? Uh-huh. Like suddenly having horrible thoughts or feeling demonic energy rather than magic power from your body. I could see my reflection in Che Jin-yun's eyes. I could see that I was afraid, but I wanted to ask, will you believe me if I said you will become a devil? Can you give up your life to protect your young sister? I'm not sure. Are you perhaps talking about Operation Fireflake? However, Che Jin-yun was still stuck in the past. Unable to ask the questions I wanted to, I dropped my head. I clenched my teeth and tightened my grip on my chair's arms. As I sat at a loss for words, worries rising from the depths of my heart shook my body. Then suddenly, Che Jin-yun placed his hand on my head. I don't know what's troubling you so much, but... The door shot open. Sorry, Oppa. What? Seeing Che Jin-yun's hand on my head, Che Na-yun furrowed her brows. Hajin must have been a big fan of mine. Really? But she didn't think much of it and sat down next to me. Che Jin-yun asked, Where are the others? I sent them back. You have to rest soon anyway. That's a shame. Did something happen? Yeah, Master Yu Si-hook said he'd delay his camp for about 4 days, so I'm leaving on the 25th.
Yu Si-hook was well aware of Che Na-yun's extenuating circumstance. However, Che Na-yun's expression wasn't all that good. But, Oppa, should I just not go? Che Jin-yun didn't reply. Instead, he slowly turned his head and faced me. I think she's asking you, Hajin-si. What? No, I'm obviously asking you, Oppa. What do you think, Hajin? Che Jin-yun asked. Yu Si-hook's school was located at the peak of Baekdu Mountain, which had one of the highest concentrations of spirit energy and mana in the world. As a result, it was impossible to reach its peak without being above a certain level of skill. To arrive at Yu Si-hook's school, you had to train your lungs forcefully. Che Na-yun, Kim Soo-ho, and Shin Jung-hak would be unable to step outside until the end of winter break. Should I not go? Che Na-yun turned to me and asked. I responded resolutely. No, you should go. Che Na-yun had to leave for Yu Si-hook camp. Eh? But it's not the end of the world if I don't go. Go. Tsk. Che Na-yun's face turned into a bulldog's as she glared at me. Thankfully, Che Jin-yun seemed to agree. Na-yun, I agree with Hajin. If it's because of me, you don't have to worry. You can see me anytime you want, but this might be the only chance for you to go to Yu Si-hook's school. I was going to go anyway. Oh yeah, I brought a camera. Che Na-yun changed the topic and took out a high-quality camera from her bag, then pushed it toward me. Here, take pictures of us. Che Na-yun ran next to Che Jin-yun. Although he was taken aback at first, he soon smiled happily. I watched them silently, then murmured, Scan. The number was 44, a jackpot. What kind of photos would this camera take? With a somber expectation, I raised the camera. Say cheese! Click, click. Che Na-yun and Che Jin-yun made all sorts of poses. Che Na-yun hugged Che Jin-yun in one photo, gave him a peck on the cheek in another, and leaned on his shoulder in the next. After about 30 or so photos, now you should take some with Hajin. Che Jin-yun made an unexpected suggestion. No, I'm fine. Well, I insist. Na-yun, go stand next to him. What? No! Che Na-yun. As soon as Che Jin-yun raised his voice, Che Na-yun walked up next to me, embarrassed. All right, say cheese. Shh. Cheese. Che Na-yun bashfully made a peace sign. Click. Thus, the only photo of me and Che Na-yun was taken. The visiting period ended, and it was now nighttime. While Che Jin-yun slept, Che Na-yun and I walked around the hospital's garden. Kim Hajin. Under the faint moonlight, Che Na-yoon skipped through the garden, calling my name. Her expression could only be described as the happiest in the world. Kim Hajin. Kim Hajin, Kim Hajin. What? Nothing. I just wanted to thank you. Hearing Che Na-yoon's calm voice, I became speechless. As if you have anything to thank me for. You came here with me every day. Che Na-yoon continued as she slowly strolled through the garden. To be honest, I was scared to come by myself. I love Oppa so much and I've been wanting to see him for so long. But it's almost been 5 years since I last talked to him. I didn't know what to say, and I was afraid what he might think about me all grown up. She then poked my shoulder. But it wasn't awkward with you around. By the time she was done, we were at the front entrance. My bike was parked next to a wall. I see. I retorted unenthusiastically, leaving Che Na-yoon behind. Then I got on my bike, put on my helmet, and turned the engine on. Are you free on Christmas? When I was about to step on the gas, Che Na-yoon spoke. I turned toward her. That's the day you're leaving. I want to see you before I go. I didn't answer. However, Che Na-yoon continued to speak unperturbed. I'm leaving at 6, so I'll meet you at noon in front of the hospital. I'm leaving. Yeah, good night. I smiled bitterly and stepped on the accelerator. As my bike raced down the road, I could see Che Na-yoon looking at me from the side mirror. Serko District, Gangnam. When I opened the door to the luxury apartment complex I bought, Evandel and Hayang greeted me. Hajin! Meow! Hey guys. I picked up Evandel in one arm and Hayang in the other. Seeing them smiling as brightly as ever, I did my best to smile and asked, How did ordering food go? It went well. We ate steak. You did as I said. Yeah, I told the delivery man to put the food in front of the door, then I brought it inside after he left. Good job. Meow! I put them down on the couch. It was nice to have a big house. The spaciousness of the room gave me comfort. Oh right, did you take Hayang on a walk? Recently, I've been making Evandel practice going out. I made her wear a smartwatch just in case, but with Hayang as her guide, I didn't need to worry too much. Good girl. I patted Evandel and Hayang. Evandel smiled brightly and enjoyed my touch. At that moment, I received a message. Little apprentice, we have done with all preparations. January 3rd will be the day. Be ready. My face immediately stiffened up. Watch TV for a bit. I went into the bedroom and took out the jar of greed, which I kept outside of Evandel's reach. As soon as I obtained the jar of greed, I put Aether inside it. Aether was certainly worth enough to receive an upgrade. That was December 10th. More than 10 days had passed since then. I slowly opened the lid. That was then. My hands emitted a powerful golden light. I'd experienced this before. This meant that accumulation of luck had activated. So if so, I quickly opened the lid. Golden light rose from the jar. Bravo! Aether was inside the jar carrying a strange pink light. Pink. Wait. What? With a foreboding, I turned on my smartwatch. Aesthetic greed. The desire to seek beauty has been attached to Aether. Its user's invariable charm stat will increase by 0.002 points every 24 hours to a maximum of 1. Note, the charm stat cannot be increased beyond 9. Aether will now react to beautiful things. Aether's detail materialization becomes more exquisite. I became speechless and stood still in a daze. From an objective standpoint, it was undoubtedly fantastic. After all, it permanently raised an invariable stat. Furthermore, as the charm stat was directly related to one's physical beauty, it not only affected their outer appearance, but also their musculoskeletal balance and height. With a full 1-point increase, I should grow at least 2 to 3 centimeters taller. It was a change worthy of triggering accumulation of luck. Still, why? Why couldn't it have been intelligence rather than charm? In fact, I would have been happier with an effect that increased my variable stats by 2.
As regrettable as it was, there was nothing I could do about it. Of course, it was possible to change the setting with my gift. However, erasing an already existing functionality and adding a new one could cause unnecessary consequences. So I decided to be happy with what I got.
I reached out to Ether. As though it missed me, Ether shot toward me like an arrow and coiled around my body like a snake.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like the video. Have a suggestion? Let me know in the comments.